This is a recording for a guided body scan meditation. So we can start by lying on our back if that's comfortable. If it's too painful or uncomfortable to lie on your back and you know that, it may be helpful to sit in a chair or do this standing. But if you're able to lie down on your back, doing so now with the feet falling away from each other if that's comfortable, and the arms away from the body with the palms facing up, or in any other position that may be more suitable for you. It may be helpful to put a pillow underneath your head to support the neck. During this guided body scan meditation, there may come a time when there's too much pain or too much suffering in the body, and listening to the intelligence within you that tells you that it's too much. It's gotten to the point where it's too painful, and it's okay to shift the posture to relieve some of the suffering. But just paying attention to the shift in the posture as it's happening in awareness. During the body scan, the mind may wander away from the guide of whatever part of the body we may be bringing awareness to in that moment. And if that happens, that's completely normal. It's the nature of the mind. It's the nature of the mind to wander. And just noticing that it's wandered and then coming back to the instructions for guidance. If you find yourself falling asleep during this guided meditation, it may be helpful to open the eyes, as they will be closed otherwise. Unless it's more comfortable for you to keep your eyes open the whole time, then feeling free to do that. So lying here, being aware of the breath, the breathing. As a way of grounding in awareness. And being with, feeling the toes of the left foot. The tips of the toes, the spaces between the toes. There may be sensations of tingling or feeling of the air on the toes or in between the toes. Or you may notice some neutral feeling. But whatever is there, or whatever is here, in the toes, being with it. Noticing if there's any tension in this part of the body. And noticing that we can move the attention And you can direct the awareness to the bottom of the left foot. From the heel to the point where the bottom of the foot meets the toes. And the curve in the heel. Being with whatever is here. And we can include the feeling or be with the top of the left foot. And being with the entire left foot, including the toes, the bottom of the foot, the top of the foot. And sensing inside and out what is here. And paying attention with a curiosity. Like, what's here? What's going on in this region of my body? Moving up to the ankle, the shin, the calf, on the left leg. Maybe noticing points of contact where the leg meets the floor or mat if you're lying down. And if you're standing or sitting, noticing potentially the air on these areas of the left leg, the lower left leg. Being aware of this region of the body, inside and out. From left to right, back to front. The whole of the lower leg. During this practice, the mind may wander. So you may notice at some point that the mind is thinking of something other than the lower left leg. Knowing that that's totally normal, that is, it's the nature of the mind to wander. So if that happens, just noticing where the mind has gone, paying attention to that for a moment, and then coming back to the left knee. The joint that connects the lower leg to the upper leg. Front and back. Inside and out. Noticing if there's any tension in this area. and being with the upper left leg. From the knee all the way up to the groin and the outside of the hip. Being with this region inside and out. It's one of the larger regions in our body. Sensing any contact with clothing or chair or mat or floor. Not doing anything or forcing in any way, just being with what is actually here. In this region of the upper left leg. Being with the whole of the left leg, from the foot up to the groin and the hip. Sensing how this leg feels compared to the right leg. Seeing how we can bring attention to smaller areas, such as the toes, and then larger areas, such as the whole left leg. And redirecting the awareness to the smaller area of the right toes, the toes of the right foot. The spaces between the toes. Sensing air, if we're able to sense air. Or maybe temperature, cold or hot, or tingling. Or maybe neutral. It's hard to detect anything. But being with that as well, if that's the case. The lower right foot from the heel up to the point where the foot meets the toes. Sensing the point where the heel hits the floor. If we're lying down, it might be the back of the heel. The curve of the heel. Being with the top of the right foot. and the right foot as a whole, including the bottom of the foot, the top of the foot, the heel, and the toes. Noticing if there's any tension. Again, if the mind wanders, just noticing it, and without judging it for having wandered, coming back to the right ankle. An important piece of this is not judging the mind for wandering. It's just what the mind does. So whenever we're able to notice it and come back to, at this point, the right ankle, that's a moment of mindfulness, a moment of being aware. And you haven't done anything wrong for having wandered. Being with the right shin and right calf, inside and out. Points of contact with the floor or with the air if we're standing. Noticing the point where the skin meets the air. Including in your experience the right knee, front and back. There may be an injury in this area, common place for injury, the knee. Noticing if there's any tension, or maybe not. Being with the right upper leg from the knee up to the groin and the outside of the hip. Inside and out, left to right, front and back. Maybe sensations of contact with clothing. Maybe noticing any tension. Being with the area of the pelvis. From left hip to right hip. From back to front, including the regions of the butt and the genitals. being with the pelvic region inside and out. And maybe the backside against the floor or the chair. Being with the abdomen, the belly, sensing the breath here. Noticing if there's any tension or restriction. Being with the rising and falling in the belly as the air comes in and out. Potentially feeling how the belly hits the clothes as it moves, or how it hits the air on the outside. Or maybe there's no sensation here, just a neutral feeling. Moving up to include the chest, the upper torso, noticing sensations of breath here, the chest rising and falling. The rib cage, expanding of the lungs, and the heart beating, pumping blood to these other regions. Being aware of the lower back, the place where the spine meets the pelvis. The sacral area. Noticing if there's any tension. This is a place where a lot of people hold tension. Following the awareness up the spine to include the mid-back and the lower back. And moving towards the upper back. The whole of the spine. the shoulder blades against the floor or the chair, or if you're standing, against the air. Noticing if there's any tension here or neutral feelings, tingling, whatever's here, being with it. Being aware of the palm of the left hand. And the left fingers in the whole of the left hand. It may be a sense of tingling, since we use our hands to touch. There may be more sensations here. Or maybe not, there may be neutral feeling, but being with whatever is here for you. The hand hitting the floor, or your lap if you're sitting down. And the whole hand receiving the air. Possible coolness or warmth. Sensing the left forearm, front and back, side to side, inside and out. The left elbow and the joint that connects the lower arm to the upper arm. And the right upper arm, including the bicep and the tricep. And the whole of the left arm, from the tips of the fingers to the top of the upper arm. Again, if the mind wanders, just noticing and coming back without judging. Without judging. Being with the right palm and the fingers in the right hand. Breathing with this area. Noticing if there's any tension. Sensing the right forearm, front and back, inside and out. Maybe sensing the air in this area and the point where the skin meets the air. Sensing the right elbow, the joint that connects the forearm to the upper arm. And being with the right upper arm, the bicep and the tricep. The whole of the right arm from the tips of the fingers to the top of the right upper arm. Sensing the whole of both arms. Being with what is felt here, or maybe compared to how they felt before we brought awareness. Being aware of the tops of the shoulders. Maybe micro movements here from the breath, rising and falling of the shoulders. The neck, the back of the neck, including the front of the neck and the throat, the sense of the whole neck. Another potential region where people hold a lot of tension. So noticing if there's any tension here. Or if not, noticing what is here. The chin, the jaw, we are constantly manipulating our face throughout the day to communicate verbally or non-verbally. Seeing what it's like to not have to do this. In the whole of the face, including the eyebrows, the eye sockets, the cheeks, the nostrils, the lips, the tongue, the forehead, the ears. Being with what is here in the whole of the face. And including in awareness the sense, or being with the whole of the head, from the inside out, sense of the brain and the head against the floor if we're lying down, including the carriage of the head and the face, the whole region from the neck up. All the way to the top of the head. What is here? Maybe busyness, maybe stillness, maybe neutral. Doesn't matter. Being aware of the body as a whole, including all of these regions that you just moved through in awareness. From the tips of the toes to the top of the head. Breathing with and being with the whole body, the body as a whole. Recognizing how it may feel compared to before we started. There may be particular regions that grab our attention or awareness. If there's any place or region in the body that has tension, bringing awareness to this specific place or region. And if not, just being with the sense of the body as a whole. Lying here or sitting here or standing. whole body against the floor or the chair. The sense of gravity holding you here. And the air against the skin. This whole being. And in the next few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, we will move towards the end of the formal body scan practice. So we can move towards awareness of the breath, the rising and falling in the belly, or the air coming in and out of the nostrils. And anchoring the attention here. If your eyes were closed, you can open them as a way of coming back to the room, and including vision in the experience as well. And moving the body in whatever way it may need right now. As we move towards the end of the formal practice, giving some gratitude towards yourself for taking this time to practice the body scan meditation.